All right. So let's check this one out. What do ghosts actually want and why do they haunt us? So, just so we're all on the same page, this article is more than 8 years old. It is more than 8 years old, and it was when it was originally posted, and it was last updated May 2019. But as I was scrolling through this website, it was on the popular. It's right here at the top, right? Like, see, all this stuff is recent. December. This is yesterday, at least as of this recording. I am recording this on December 22nd. This is yesterday, the day before, the day before. This is today. But this is popular, even though it's from 2017. It's popular, so I figure let's react to it, right? What do ghosts actually want and why do they haunt us? And sorry, I keep looking out the window. My goddaughter's bus is almost here, so I got to make sure I get her. I'm trying to get this done before she gets off the bus. So we're going to make this quick. What do ghosts actually want and why do they want to haunt us? So come on. I think we know this is going to be very new agey, very ghost huntery type nonsense, but let's see what they have to say. So, ghosts are described as the soul or spirit of a dead person or animal which is said to appear to the living. The idea of ghosts has been around for as long as we've been passing on stories around a fire. The belief in the existence of an afterlife dates back to pre-literature culture, so it's old. You know, the belief in the afterlife and spirits living on and all that is as old as dirt. But why do ghosts haunt us? I wonder what they're going to say. Are they trapped in our plane? Wow, that's not how you spell plane for like different levels of it's like an airplane, plane, not like a savannah, like a open plain, right? It's not like that. Of existence, or do they choose to be here? Well, despite centuries of paranormal investigation, no one knows. Centuries? I mean, okay, I guess they are correct. Okay, I guess they are technically correct. But that is true, though. Despite the centuries of investigating, they've not come to a consensus, which is interesting because in the occult we have actual answers. There's very little I don't know in the occult. There's a lot of I don't know coming out of the new age and the paranormal communities. Um, Sorry if you can hear my dog. She's out back barking. Until fairly recently, the overwhelming consensus was that ghosts were the spirits of the dead who've been refused entering to the afterlife and instead are forced to walk the earth for eternity. This does require that you not only believe in ghosts, but also in afterlife and some sort of heaven or hell. But we're beyond that. So perhaps this is why, in these less religious times, most ghost hunters now tend to believe that the spirits haunt the living because they have unfinished business, which we know is BS. We in the occult know that that's BS. This common trope emerged in the 1970s when movies started to depict ghosts in romantic plots. A common theme in the romantic genre from this period is the ghost as a benign guide or messenger, often with unfinished business, such as 1989's Field of Dreams, 1990 film Ghost, and the 1993 comedy Hearts and Souls. The only one out of those I've seen was Ghost. I have no idea what the others are. All right, we're not going to read all of this, but all right, let's just skip down to why ghosts feel the need to haunt us, because that's what we're here for. Ghosts aren't able to communicate through traditional means to make the living the living aware of their unfinished business. The best you'll get from a ghost is one knock for yes and two for no. Wow. So they're often forced to draw the attention of the living to them and their problems by more aggressive or physical means. Wow, we know this is BS. We know this is BS. You guys know I talk all the time about spirits, especially like when people come into the live streams and they ask about, ancestor work and how to get in touch with their ancestors. And what if I can't see or talk or feel them or whatever? I always say spirits know if you can't get in touch with them, via the occult, the mystical, the psychic means or whatever. And so for those people, which is the majority of the world, they will visit you in your dreams. They don't need to bang on your doors and pull your curtains off the wall and open all your cabinets in the kitchen really, really fast, like on Paranormal Activity. They don't need to do any of that stuff. That's ridiculous. They would just come to you in your dream and tell you whatever they need to tell you. They don't need to knock and moo and rattle and all that other stuff. We know in the occult how spirits, especially spirits of the dead, we know how spirits operate. It is not like this. This is more poltergeist activity, which is not a ghost. Poltergeists are made up of an amalgamation of energy that hasn't been banished, right? So, it could be angry energy, depression energy, sad energy, and even happy energy. All this energy coming together that was never cleansed and banished. It just sat there and grew and grew and grew and grew and festered. It begins to take on a semi life of its own. It's like semi conscious. So you can interact with it, but up to a point, right? It can't answer even rudimentary questions, right? I mean, it's relatively simple and, I mean, slightly retarded, if I'm going to be honest. But anyway, um, it's not ghosts, right? It's an amalgamation of energy that is built up and forms together a semi-conscious sort of a life form, and that's what's knocking on the walls and making little noises. Not an actual spirit of the dead, at least not most of the time. Are there cases where it could be a spirit of the dead that's actually haunting a place? Yes. And then also, we shouldn't leave out other types of spirits. It's not always a spirit of the dead, right? That's another thing that these paranormal ghost hunters leave out. They forget, genius loci, spirits of the land, or spirits of the place more specifically. They leave out land spirits. They leave out the elementals, right? It's always just the spirit of the dead is what's haunting the place. It's never an angry genius loci or an angry, earth spirit or, spirit of the river or something like that. It's never anything like that. It's always some old crone or some old man or woman who died there 100 years ago or something, which is ridiculous. But anyway, let's continue. Assuming ghosts do exist, they do, it's easy to understand why spirits might get so frustrated and resort to banging, throwing objects, and other classic paranormal activity. A ghost trapped on Earth will witness the living 24/7. The spirit will see the people they knew in life growing older and getting on with their life without them. They sure to feel, or I think this should be they're sure to feel left out and helpless. That's not the case at all. It wouldn't take long for a spirit to get resentful, jealous, or angry, and this negative energy would drive the ghost to try to make the living aware of its unfinished business in a more aggressive manner. Imagine you were in a shop and you needed the help of the staff, but they were just chatting to one another and ignoring you. How long before you lost your temper and shouted at them and banged your fist on the counter? This is a ridiculous comparison. This is not how it works at all. And this is a classic example of why it's not good to get your information about spirits or anything related to the occult, which is pretty much most of what is available in the New Age and the paranormal communities. Most of that is occult. This is showing you why you shouldn't get your information from people who are not occultists. Or at the very least, people who study legitimate occult systems, traditions, methods, from our own books and stuff like that are written for us by us. If it's not someone like that or an actual occultist, I don't understand why you would see them as an authority on anything. So this is ridiculous. And please get your information about ghosts from necromancers, occultists, witches, people who actually work with these beings. It wouldn't take long for a spirit to get resentful, jealous, or angry, and this negative energy would drive the ghost to try to make the living aware of its unfinished business. No, in a more aggressive manner. That's not how it happens. I already read that. Why am I reading that again? All right. How can you quiet down a poltergeist or make a spirit happy? Wow. Let's see what they have to say. Let's see what their non-occult informed, their non-esoteric, their non-mystically informed opinion on this is. Let's see. In the movies, the star will often have to communicate with the ghosts in order to figure out what the unfinished business is and help them resolve it. In the movie The Sixth Sense, a young boy named Cole can see ghosts, which walk around like the living, unaware they are dead. One of those ghosts is Malcolm Crowe, who Cole helps to resolve his unfinished business. Crowe, played by Bruce Willis, and he's going through a lot right now. I wish him well and all that. From what I just read recently, like literally like a day or two ago, he has been moved out of his own home with his wife and his children, and he is now in a 24/7 care facility. His dementia and everything that he has gotten so bad he doesn't remember who he is. He has no idea he was a famous actor who did all these great movies. He can barely talk. He's nonverbal now. So it doesn't seem like a good outlook, but we wish him well, and hope his family is by his side through all this. But anyway, yeah, he's played by Bruce Willis, who was a child psychologist whose unfinished business was rectifying his failure to understand and help a former patient, a failing that led to Crowe's death. As with Bruce Willis's character, ghosts with unfinished business are said to be driven by nothing but the task in hand. Not the case. And once completed, they are able to make their way to the light and move on. Well, I don't want to make this theological, but we know, at least from a Hermetic perspective, this is not to disparage anyone else's religious belief or anyone else's eschatological belief. But from a Hermetic perspective, going to the light is not necessarily or always a good thing. That's going back into reincarnation. That doesn't move you on. It brings you back into the world through reincarnation. But anyway, outside the world of Hollywood blockbusters, spirits with unfinished chores are much less dramatic. If any attempt to communicate is made, it's often done through a medium who will relay the messages from the deceased to his or her clients. Not true. And I've been to numerous mediums, psychics and all that. I've never had one read me accurately, ever. Not even once. It's all like, if I've ever had accurate readings, it was always by other witches, other actual occultists. It was never by a boardwalk psychic, or I'm on vacation and I go to some psychic at the beach or whatever. It's or the ones that are just on the side of the street in certain towns. They're in like a house or something. No. I've never had success with any of those, because they're not real, right? Necromancy. Will you want to get in touch with the dead? Necromancy. Who will relay the messages from the deceased to his or her clients, the ones being haunted. Once the message has been relayed in action, the haunting will diminish or instantly stop completely. Wow. If you're a believer in the supernatural, then resolving the business is clearly the reason why the haunting comes to an end. However, the more skeptical among us may liken the supposed message from beyond, passed on by the clairvoyant, as a sort of psychic placebo. Once the victims of the haunting are told that the spirit had made its peace and moved on, they will no longer be looking for signs that their house is haunted. They'll stop attributing unexplained knocks and bangs as examples of the paranormal, and over time the haunting will die down and fade away. So I didn't know. I noticed or didn't notice that, or let me. I noticed they did not have any occult methodologies here. It was just go see a psychic, and they'll tell you what the spirit is upset about, and do that, help them resolve that issue. And no, right? We know how to placate spirits, right? In the occult, right? We know about offerings, right? We know about, if needed, sacrifices, depending on the type of spirit and all that. We know how to placate spirits within the occult. We know how to reach out to the spirit through divination to find out what they would like in order to placate them. We don't need a medium or a psychic to do it for us. We can do it ourselves. And this is the problem again. Just go see a psychic. No need to see a psychic. You can get rid of a spirit or quiet them down or appease them yourself. The occult has the answer, right? No need to see 15 different psychics before one actually gets rid of the spirit or whatever. because they happen to actually know what they're doing. You can do it yourself. That's the beauty of the occult. Oops, sorry. I thought I had this on vibrate. Apologies. All right. Of course, the other possibility is that heaven is much more boring than people think, and after hundreds of years stuck with all the same, with the same all friends and family members. This is weirdly written. Spirits want a bit more action in their life and come back to haunt the living for a laugh and something to do. That is not true. And we know that is not true. This is absolutely ridiculous. Want to become a ghost hunter? No, I don't. Paralearning is hosting in association with Higgy Pop. This is ridiculous. Oh my God. No, I do not want to become a ghost hunter. All right, but we can see the nonsense here, right? These people don't know what ghosts actually want. They have no idea what ghosts want. They have no idea why they haunt us. They have no idea how to calm them down or get rid of them or anything along those lines. And so, sorry. Sorry. But this video is pretty much done anyway, so no need to put it on vibrate now. But yeah, they have no idea what they're talking about, what they're doing. This is all just nonsense. And you got to see it firsthand. You got to see it firsthand. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this article. What do ghosts actually want, and why do they haunt us? What do you guys think? Is this nonsense, or do you agree with what the article was saying, and that this is how it works? That a psychic medium is the only way to get rid of your ghostly issues, and that the occult doesn't have the answers, and a mystical rebel doesn't know what he's talking about. Whatever it is, put it in the comments below. I want to know what you guys think. Thank you for checking out this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share this out with your friends. Check out my school community if you want to learn how to actually do magic. Link is going to be in the description, and I hope to see you in the next one. As always, seek the mysteries. Peace.